Hi everyone and welcome back. I am going to make a Lucky Crochet top hat for dolls, and if you want you can have a free printable copy of the pattern by clicking on the link below in the description field. And the supplies you're going to need are I'm using light green yarn, black yarn, and gold yarn for the buckle. And then I am using a size K or 6.5mm crochet hook, and an H or 5.0mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors, and a tapestry needle just to weave in the ends. So let's get started. To begin our project, we are actually going to create a magic ring, and how you do that is you just lay your tail of yarn over your fingers. Then I like to wrap my yarn around so I have a loop, and then I hold the two pieces of yarn with my thumb and let my long tail of yarn just hang to the back. So I bring my ring forward, so this is my loop that I made, and I insert my hook into the ring and I pull up the yarn. And then this is the ring we're going to be working our stitches in. And we're going to crochet into the ring. And what the next instructions are is we're going to actually complete round 1. So we're going to chain 3, making sure that this ring doesn't come undone. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And this is going to count as our first double crochet stitch. Then we're going to complete 9 double crochet stitches in the ring. So you yarn over, insert your hook into the ring, so there should be 2 pieces of yarn here, your tail and the actual ring. You just insert it right into this big loop here. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over again, and pull through the remaining 2 loops, and that's your double crochet stitch. So we'll do that again. Yarn over, insert your hook into the ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over again, pull up through 2 loops, and yarn over again and pull through the remaining 2 loops. And there we have completed another double crochet. So I'm just going to keep double crocheting in this ring. And there I've completed my 9th double crochet stitch. So I'm ready to close the ring, because as you can see right now it's a lot bigger than what I needed. So to close the ring, you want to take your tail out and you want to hold on to your last stitch, the last double crochet you made, so your work doesn't come undone. And you're just going to pull on this tail like so. And there, that closes your ring. And it's okay if you have a little hole open here. We're not going to completely shut it yet because we have to join the round and work round 2. So all you want to do is bring your yarn and create a slip stitch. So I just inserted my hook into the top of the chain 3, yarn over, and I pull through all the loops on my hook. And there we've completed the slip stitch. I'm just going to pull really tight on the yarn. And there you can see on the top of the hat, there's no hole left open on a magic ring. It's just firmly shut. So now we can do round 2. And all I do is I chain 3. And then I'm going to double crochet 2 times in every stitch around. And we're going to join with a slip stitch to the top of the beginning chain 3. So we'll get a total of 20 stitches in the round. So I'm just going to yarn over, going to go into my first stitch and make a double crochet, and then I'm going to go into that same stitch and make another double crochet. So 2 double crochets per stitch. Okay, so I just completed my 18th double crochet, and so I'm going to complete my 19th. And the chain 3 counts as my 20th, so all I'm going to do is join with a slip stitch in the top of the chain 3. And there I've completed round 2. For round 3, I am just going to chain 3. And then the instructions say to double crochet twice into the next stitch. So 2 double crochets in this stitch, and then it says to double crochet once in the next stitch. And we're going to repeat this pattern around, so 2 double crochets in the next stitch, and 1 double crochet in the next stitch. And then when we have finished round 3, we'll join with a slip stitch in the top of the beginning chain 3, and we should have a total of 30 stitches in the round. Once you have completed round 3, round 4 will be the last round of the top of the hat. And to complete round 4, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to single crochet once into the next stitch. And then we're going to single crochet twice into the next stitch. And we're basically going to repeat that pattern around. So we're going, well, actually I shouldn't say that. We're going to single crochet twice in the next stitch, and then we're going to single crochet once into the next 2 stitches. And that's the pattern we're going to complete, is single crocheting twice into the next stitch, and then in the next 2 stitches we're going to single crochet once. And so we complete that pattern all the way around till we get to our chain 1 stitch. And we're going to join with a slip stitch into the first chain, and we should have a total of 40 stitches in round 4. Okay, so I finished round 4, and I'm ready to start the sides of the hat. And this will be round 5. And the first thing that you do is chain 3. And to make sure that we create the sides so they are at a 90-degree angle, we are going to only stitch in the back loop of the stitches. So if you look at your crochet stitches, there should be 2 loops that we're normally crocheting or sticking our hook under, and the one that faces us is called the front loop, and the one that faces away from us is the back loop, and that's the back loop that we're going to be going through. So you actually poke your hook down through the middle of the stitch and just pick up that back loop of the stitch. And we are going to do that all the way around. So you double crochet once into each back loop of each stitch around. And this will allow the stitches to bend over and nice and flat. And so when we have stitched all the way around, we will join with a slip stitch in the top of the chain 3, and we should have 40 double crochet stitches for round 5. Rounds 6 through 11 are the same pattern. You chain 3, only this time instead of double crocheting in the back loop, we're just going to double crochet regularly through both loops. And we're going to double crochet in each stitch around, so there will be a total of 40 stitches in each of rounds 6 through 11. And at the end of each round, we'll make sure to join with a slip stitch in the top of our chain 3. So I'll keep continuing on doing rounds 6 through 11, and then I'll come back when I finish to show you how to do round 12, which will be the brim of the hat. Okay, so I finished round 11, And as you can see, we got the top part of our hat completed. So now we're going to work the brim. And to do that in round 12, we will chain 3. And now we're going to double crochet in the front loop only of the next stitch. So as you can see, we have 2 loops on the top of our stitch. We're just going to come up through the first loop. So there's going to be only 1 loop on the hook. So what we'll do is yarn over, come up through that 1 loop, and double crochet. Next, we're going to double crochet 2 times into the front loop only of the next stitch. So again, just that front loop I'm catching, that's 1, and that's 2. And then we are going to double crochet once in the front loop only of the next 2 stitches. So we'll complete a double crochet in that stitch, and a double crochet in the next stitch. So in this entire round, we are only crocheting in the front loop, and that allows us to let the stitches lie flat to create that band of the hat. And that's the pattern we're going to be repeating around. We're going to double crochet 2 times in the next stitch and double crochet once in the next 2 stitches. We'll repeat that pattern all the way around until we get to our chain 3, and we'll join on the top with a slip stitch, and you should have a total of 60 stitches for round 12. So double crochet twice in the next stitch, and double crochet once in the next 2 stitches, making sure to only catch that front loop. So I'm going to continue this pattern all the way around, and then I'll come back when we're ready to do round 13. Okay, I finished round 12 according to the pattern's instructions, and I did not come out with 60 stitches, of course. And what you should have come out with is 53. I found that the pattern does have a misprint, so if you are going by the written instructions, just be aware that the stitch count total is incorrect. So for round 13, we're going to chain 3 and double crochet into the next 2 stitches. And this time we're not doing the front loop, back loop, we're doing a regular double crochet. So that's 1, that's 2. And then we will double crochet 2 times into the next stitch, and double crochet once into the next 3 stitches. And this is going to be our pattern all the way around, as we double crochet twice into the next stitch and then double crochet once in the next 3 stitches. And then once we get to our chain 3, we slip stitch again in the 3rd chain. The pattern says you should have a total of 80 stitches. That's incorrect. You should have a total of 66 stitches when you're done. And that will be the brim for the hat. So after you fasten off, or I should say after you slip stitch, you can fasten off and weave in your end. And then we'll come back and do the band and the buckle to make it our St. Patrick's Day hat. And here is our finished hat. So it should look like a nice green top hat with a flat top. This is created by when we stitched in those back loops only, and then a nice brim that was created when we stitched in those front loops only. So now that we got the hat, we still need to make the band and the buckle to make it look like a leprechaun hat. And to do that, we're going to make the band, which is going to be made out of black yarn. And then I'm switching to my smaller crochet hook, which is a size H, or the 5.00 millimeter size. And the band will be made in 2 rounds. The first thing I'm going to do is make a slip knot. And then I'm going to chain 65 stitches. After you have chained your 65 stitches, you want to make sure that you don't twist your chain stitches, so I just lay mine down and make sure it's running flat. And then we're going to join in the first chain that we made with the slip stitch. So I'll go this way. And this will create the ring that we need to make our band. Now we can do round one. And to do that, we're going to chain 3. And we're going to double crochet in each stitch around in every chain and join with a slip stitch in the third chain. So then we should have 65 stitches all the way around. So I'm just poking my hook into the chain stitch and just double crocheting. So that's 1. And I'll just continue this all the way around, join my slip stitch on the top of the beginning chain 3, and then I'll come back to do round 2. I have finished the first round of the band, and now we are going to complete the second round. And all you do is chain 3, and then we're going to double crochet in each stitch around, and we're going to join again with a slip stitch on top of the chain 3. And being this is our last round of the band, you'll be able to fasten off after that. So in round 2, you should also have a total of 65 stitches. But just remember, when we finish this band, do not put it on your hat. Well, you can put it on your hat because it will slip right back off, but we have to create the buckle on the band before it goes on the hat. And I'll show you that as soon as I finish up my band. So I finished the band, and as you can see, it's all one piece, and this will just slip over the top of the hat to attach. But before we do that, we need to create the buckle. So I have some yellow gold yarn, and we're going to create a slip knot. And we're still using the same smaller hook. And then we'll chain 10. After you've chained 10 stitches, you want to create a slip stitch in the first chain to form a ring. And then we're ready to actually make our buckle. How we're going to do that is chain 1, single crochet 3 times, and we're single crocheting into the ring. Chain 2 for the corner, and single crochet 6. Chain 2 for the next corner, single crochet 6 times, chain 2 for the next corner. And you might need to move your stitches over because it's a lot of stitches that we're fitting into this. Single crochet another 6 times. We'll single crochet twice again for our last corner, or chain 2 for our last corner, and then we'll single crochet 3 times. So we should have 6 single crochet stitches on each side and 4 chain 2 corners. And all I'm going to do now is slip stitch in the first single crochet stitch. So that's what our belt buckle is going to look like. Now to attach it, to the actual band, we are going to chain 3. And this is going to act like our bar on an actual belt buckle. So when I take my band, I place my buckle on top like so, and I'm actually going to bring my work around the back, and that bar will hold this buckle to the band. All I have to do now is make sure that I don't twist my chain 3. There we go. And then I'll slip stitch to the top of one of these middle single crochet stitches on the opposite side. So I'll just put it right in there. There we go, slip stitched in place. And now we are done with our buckle. So all you have to do is fasten off. So I'm just going to cut my yarn because it's kind of wrapped in my band. There we go. And just fasten off. And then I'll weave in my ends. But there I have my band and my belt buckle. And if you want to see it on the hat, just slip it over like that. Try to tuck in the tail so you can kind of see what it's going to look like. And there is my little leprechaun hat. So I hope you guys had a lot of fun with this project, and I hope that you enjoyed it and that it wasn't too confusing. If you want a copy of the written instructions, I do have a link in the bottom in the description, but just be careful, there are some mistakes written that I did point out in this video. But otherwise, if you have any suggestions for any future videos, please leave a comment below. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Bye!